hybrid learning have been fast-tracked into educational settings. And sadly, the disparities caused by socioeconomic status have never been more apparent. Teaching has also become more complicated. As schools moved to online learning, teachers were suddenly tasked with finding ways to hold students' attention when they weren't actually in the same room. Due to the complicated nature of online teaching, the education technology stack became more important. The education technology stack is a collective term from the end-to-end systems that deliver reliable apps and services to teachers, students, and administrators right when they need them. It's the combination of computer frameworks, languages, and software applications that sit behind the day-to-day interface used by all those across the school. This particular session will see esteemed leaders from the education ecosystem sharing their experience and knowledge on education technology's evolutionary journey and more. Not just that, participants will get to know about a host of services that education technology stack is delivering, such as National Digital Education Architecture. It's a unifying unifying infrastructure that is used to energize and catalyze the education ecosystem. Second is the digital infrastructure for knowledge sharing, which is DIKSHA, a platform for school education, an initiative of National Council for Education Research and Training under the aegis of the Ministry of Education, Government of India. Then we have Vidya Samiksha Kendra. It's a surveillance system which tracks enrollment, attendance, learning outcomes, dropouts, school accreditations, and monitors school teachers and block and cluster resource center coordinators. Then we have SWAYAM, massive online open course platform which is initiated by Government of India and designed to achieve the three cardinal principles of education policy that are access, equity, and quality, to take the best teaching learning resources to all, including the most disadvantaged. I'd like to start by introducing our esteemed panel of speakers. Mr. Rajneesh Kumar, he's the Director, Digital Education in the Department of School Education at the Education Ministry. He looks after projects in digital education like NDR, DIKSHA, and is the coordinating officer for National Curriculum Framework. He's from the Indian Railway Service on deputation to central government. He'll be also talking about National Digital Education Architecture, which is NDA. Then we have Dr. Amrendra Behra, Joint Director, Central Institute of Educational Technology, National Council of Education Research and Training. He's obtained his Bachelor's of Arts from BJP College, Bhubaneswar, Odisha, affiliated to Uttar University. He's also obtained Master of Arts in Education from Punjab University. Apparently, he also stood first and won University Gold Medal for academic excellence and got the degree of Masters of Philosophy in Education. His major contributions include development and dissemination of audio, video, interactive program, management of school broadcasts, telecast through all India radio stations, FM and community radio station, DD, Swayam Prabha, PME Vidya. He'll be talking about DIKSHA learning platform. We have with us Mr. Vijay Kiran Anand, who is the IAS officer from batch 2009 from Uttar Pradesh cadre. Originally from Bangalore, Mr. Vijay Karan's first posting was in the post of SDM in Bagpat. After that, he became CDO Barabanki. He has served as the district magistrate of Gorakhpur and Mela Adhikariko. He is presently posted as Director General School Education, Special Secretary, Basic Education Department, Government of UP, and State Project Director of Uttar Pradesh. He'll be talking about Vidya Samiksha Kendra. We have Dr. Angel Ratnabai with us, who is the Assistant Professor at ICT NCRT. She is involved in development, training, and research with respect to ICT in education. She is coordinating the development and implementation of online blended courses in ICT in education for teachers and students. She has also contributed in developing the Nishtha and ICT curriculum, course portals, and its implementation across the states and UTs. She'll be talking about SWAYAM, the platform for online learning. Mr. Rajneesh Kumar is not only going to be the speaker of the session, but also the moderator. Also, for all the participants, you can ask any questions during the entire session and we'll take it up at the end of the session. Now, we'll get, without further ado, we'll get started with the session, and over to you, Mr. Rajneesh.
Thank you, Anjali, and thank you. Welcome, Dr. Behra, Professor Angel, and Shri Vijay. I will very briefly tell you about the NDR principles and how we work towards the goals. And in fact, the three sessions, other sessions, all are part of the bigger NDR picture. So I'm just going to share my screen. Just let me know whether it started. Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So as Anjali told you that today's session is on technology stack for education, I'll be speaking a bit about the National Digital Education Architecture, which is a globally pioneering effort in education, which is basically to unify all the digital infrastructure of the country to energize and catalyze the education ecosystem. So the four sessions we have is NDR, I'll be speaking on, DIKSHA, Dr. Amren Behra, Vidya Shiksha Kendra, Mr. Vijay Kiran Anand, and SWAYAM, Dr. Angel Tabai from NCRT. So India, as all of us know, is a very complex ecosystem. And there are, if you look at the child as the center of the entire effort, then the tuition teachers, the school teacher, the school administration, the NGOs, the parents, and along with the solution providers, government agencies, content providers, expert communities, they all have to come together, in a very coordinated effort so that the child is really benefited from everyone doing their bit for the child. Now, India leapfrog development progress, doing it in different areas like finance, identity, etc., which was unheard of. And what is the secret sauce? The secret sauce is that India chose a building blocks approach. So building blocks just does not create solutions. They also create the ability to solve, which is a basic point in India, that we want to leverage everybody's ability to solve the problems of the student, the teacher, and the school. So the building's approach to building diverse solutions is just an example that we have DIPA, AA, e-sign, DigiLocker, PAN, GST and ID, Aadhaar, and we had a direct benefit transfer, Jan Dhan financial inclusion, Ayushman Bharat health reform, payment reform, innovation through BEAM, skilling and education through Skills India, digital lending, and taxes. All this has been built on that India stack. And the other stack that we are building now is the education stack. So India is taking the building block approach to education, like it's doing for all other sectors like commerce, mobility, health, skilling, languages, and agriculture. The Honorable Prime Minister had launched the blueprint for the National Digital Education Architecture on 29 July last year, which was the first anniversary for the National Education Policy. And he cited very categorically that NDR is a super connector to cross-leverage ecosystem capabilities in the education in the same way as a UPI interface revolutionized the finance sector. So NDR, when we look at why we really want NDR, there are certain set of problems. Of course, these are very indicative problems. All states and UTs have independently built a lot of applications. Many times there is duplication of effort. And then a lot of dependence on vendors as source code is not in control. And states thus cannot collaborate with each other. So NDR foresees that interoperability by creating standards. All software will be open source, open standards, best of class in industry. The applications will be made available on NDR website for states, UTs to leverage. And we will request all states and UTs to declare and contribute the solutions as digital public goods. Guiding principle of NDR is it will be a federated architecture, completely decentralized. There will be privacy and security by design. There shall be inclusivity. It shall be seamless portability. It will have an ecosystem approach where the private players, the public players, the parents, teachers, students, everybody contributes to the ecosystem. And it will have longitudinal records, which essentially means lifetime records. So it will help in learning, in managing learning, and it is going to be, as we envisage in the next 1 or 2 years, maybe the standard platform for almost all states for their digital education needs. So the way we are envisaging is that first we build a central core application, which has the DIKSHA, the SWAYAM, every single possible way of educating children through the digital medium. All states and UTs contribute to it. Then we have registries for all student, teacher in school. Private organizations collaborate and work with us. The central bodies like NCRT, CBSE, Kendriya Vidyalaya, Navodaya Vidyalaya, National Institute of Open Schooling, NCT, they all work around this central code application. And in central code application, we'll have a sandbox, which is basically an experiment zone, which will be a duplication, or rather a replication of the existing.
Meeting se fir baar exit बोलना पड़ेगा.
Pardon? Anything? Okay, it's okay. So the sandbox will be built on this so that people, the NGOs, private organizations, individuals, if they want to experiment a bit and find out the possibilities in the DIKSHA or SWAYAM MOOCs or whatever platforms we have, they'll be able to do it. NDR consists of 12 categories of building blocks: open standards, federated identities, reference data, infrastructure, technology, governance, administration, content, learning, reference applications, open data analytics, and ecosystem sandbox. All these 12 categories will shortly be bringing out, standards on these, so that once we have standards, people will start working on them. So as explained before, the 12 categories of building blocks are basically between the parents, students, teachers, administrators, for administration, for learning, for every single.
ये जो अपना लबासना वाला प्रोजेक्ट है ना,
may I ask the individual to please mute once? Thank you. So while ensuring all this, we want to ensure that there's universality, there's choice, there's convenience, portability, and scale, so that the government, private, and social sector, there's a unified approach. So NDR envisions to strengthening of digital solutions for education. We'll first build standards and specifications. Then we'll also build some microservices and APIs. And then we'll also build some reference applications. So the core of NDR comprises of interoperable standards, microservices and APIs, and reference solutions, which will provide for government, civil society, and market players to build and innovate applications, platforms, solutions, and tools. And through all this, DIKSHA, which is our mainstay of digital education, which has content, questions, credentiality, will also have these, leveraging of teacher leadership training, lesson plans, explanation content, practice and homework, live classes, doubt resolution, quizzes, mentor correct. We realized in the last 2 years that if we do not innovate, people will simply leave DIKSHA. We have to go in for, very real-time doubt resolution, quizzes, live classes. People must be able to leverage DIKSHA to get the best of the country. And that is the only way forward. Therefore, India, using the energy of the entire country, entire ecosystem, will be able to build a DIKSHA which is, the best in class. So the objectives are, we'll have an open access to NDR DIKSHA APIs and on the portal in compliance with MIT's already notified open API policy. The solutions for pre-12 to higher education also will be visible here. Then there shall be open data in education domain to improve governance process and policy research. And hundreds of solutions can be built upon the ecosystem of the NDR DIKSHA infrastructure. So there is a lot of excitement in the ecosystem. We had the first workshop on 20th of May 2022, 120 plus participants from 40 leading organizations came. Second workshop was on 28th of June, about 135 plus participants, and about 10 players had demonstrated the capability that they had and how they can leverage that capability on DIKSHA. And ultimately it is the student. So we just a very small slide on telling you how the entire learner journey can be through the NDR building blocks. The Anganwadi workers get the child in, they register him. Then the primary school, middle school, high school, admission, the parents enroll the child, the parents pays the fees, student entry in registry, daily attendance is captured, day-to-day learning is captured, badges certificates are given, scholarships are based on performance. Then the child goes to school, college. So we'll have the NDR for school, NDR for skills, NDR for higher education, all working in tandem, so that there is absolutely seamless graduation of the child from Anganwadi to college education. So this is a typical high school level journey. Child is Anganwadi goes to pre-KG education, parent enrolls the child, parents pays the school fees, student data are entered, attendance is marked every day, student engaged in day-to-day learning, he consumes study material, Then the assessment is done, undergo examination, then there's a scholarship, and there could be awards. A typical student journey will be captured in the entire NDR ecosystem. So the recipe is adopt and adapt existing building blocks, plug and play into planned programs, and sense and improve. So it has to be a data-led coordinated action cycle. And in the end, just want to say that if we, the center or some state, wants to do everything, it just be like one man trying to do it all. But if we all work together, it will be synchronous work. Every violinist, pianist, or drummer will do their work perfectly well, and we'll have a superb orchestra and a synchronous work. So that's the end of my presentation. And I would now request Dr. Behra to take over and tell us something about DIKSHA. Thank you. Dr. Behra.
Thank you very much, Rajnish ji. Let me share my slide with you. And thanks for having an overarching policy view, which also makes my job easy. I think my presentation is visible clearly.
Yes, just make it full screen, sir.
Full. I have made it. Can you?
It's not visible as full screen, sir.
Okay, I think there are. Just a minute. Can you see full screen?
Not yet, sir.
Sir, you have to click on the near 91%. Please click that full screen. I think you're still in edit mode.
Okay, okay. I'll put it 100%.
No,
No, sir. Full screen is not pressed, sir.
sir, you just go to screen show, sir. Screen show.
Can you?
Sir, actually, it's not working in your system, though you are clicking. It's not coming as full screen.
Yeah, yeah. I think so.
Sir, you please go to slideshow from home. Please go to slideshow, sir, from home. Slideshow.
Okay.
Sir, on the top menu.
On top menu, sir. Top menu.
Top menu. I'll go to
Slideshow.
slideshow. Yeah.
From beginning. From beginning.
Can you see?
Sir, I think it's not working.
I think it is
It will-
not working
it will
because
come.
it is showing to me the full screen. But anyhow, no problem.
Okay,
So-
please continue, sir.
Are the slides changing? Can you see the slides changing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Then I'll go ahead with this arrangement. Sorry for the inconvenience. Esteemed Sri Rajnish Kumarji, Director Digital Education, Ministry of Education, Department of School Education and Literacy. Sri Vijay Kiranji, who is looking after education sector in Government of Uttar Pradesh. And my colleague, Dr. Angel from CIET and CERT, and Madam Anjali, the anchor, and distinguished gathering, distinguished viewers, and those who are participating online and offline attending this. Rajnish ji has broadly mentioned the policy directions and has also mentioned about DIKSHA. So I'll be basically talking about DIKSHA and the different services we are delivering through DIKSHA. And I must mention that DIKSHA, which is called as digital infrastructure for knowledge sharing for the school education sector, is a major component under Prime Minister's eVidya program. And if we talk about the scale with which we are working for DIKSHA, the whole 1.5 million schools, 15 lakh schools in India are our work area. And nearly 260 million students, 26 crore plus students, they are our stakeholders. And also nearly, as far we break the students are concerned in government and private sector, that also we have mentioned. And if we talk about the different regions, around 20 plus regional languages are covered, though 30 plus languages, nearly 36 languages, and the contents are available on those. And also we are, in our country, we have nearly 36 SCRTs in 36 states and UTs and SIEs, and also nearly 60 school boards of education, including 2 central boards of education, and 1 open school, national open school also. So we are working with them. And as far as the teachers are concerned, nearly 95 lakh teachers, 9.7 million teachers, we are working with them and taking this learning to their doorstep. And if I talk about the policy direction, the policy has a very clear vision. It says that use and integration of technology should be done in a way that it helps in teaching, learning, assessment, and also overcome the language barrier, because India is linguistically very diverse. We have 5 distinct language families we live together, starting from Aryan, Dravidian, Austroasiatic, Tibeto-Burman, and Andamanese language family, and nearly 1700 Indian languages, including the geographic diversity. So the policy talks about having use of technology, use and integration of technology, and overcome the language barrier. Even the policy talks about development of skills and values and dispositions through support of digital learning resources. And also the policy talks about teacher preparation, both at pre-service and in-service level. I mentioned that there are nearly 9.7 million teachers in India, and nearly 20,000 teacher education institutions in the country. So in a way, it is a huge system. And the policy also talks about use of technology for differently abled, for specially abled children, those who require special attention through assistive technologies. Last but not least, the policy talks about use and integration of technology for governance also, and including disruptive and upcoming technologies, including coding to be introduced at middle level onwards. So there is a clear-cut policy direction to use technology for addressing the concerns and bridging the digital divide as well. If I take you through the next slide, and the policy emphasizes equitable quality education, especially in terms of enhancing access, capability of learners, including skill development, even bringing quality into the system through digital and online education, and also bringing equity and outcome oriented into the system. So in a way, the technology used for different purposes has been defined by the policy. Then if I talk about the next policy direction, including this Rajneesh ji also mentioned about the national digital education architecture and its goals. Especially the policy needs to be implemented to address the triple challenge of India, particularly at India's level. Scale is itself a challenge, and opportunity provides a lot of opportunity for us to work. So scale, diversity, and the complexity we have in our country needs to be addressed simultaneously. If I quote our Honorable Prime Minister of India, while talking about use and integration of technology, he says that use and integration of technology should be done to have achieve the skill, scale, and speed together in India. So therefore, we all of us, we know that one structure cannot be fit for all. So how a flexible, evolvable, and federated structure of technology use can be done, so that force and inclusive integrated with that can be taken together. It is a policy clear-cut direction given. Even the policy mentions to have a variety of resources, creating digital contents and repositories, even addressing the question of digital divide through television and radio where we don't have internet connectivity. Under Prime Minister's e-Vidya program, it is thought of, and we are also ensuring and working towards achieving that goal. And also I mentioned that teacher continuous capacity building and also promoting digital learning. So clear-cut policy directions are there. Even also the policy talks about creation of standards. So whether it is digital content or cyber safety and security, even the content management and learning management systems. So even the force and the OER building an OER community and use of force tools. So we need to lay down standards so that we develop quality resources and implement that also. Even the policy did talk about mathematical and computational thinking, including introduction of coding from early stages. So which we need to take care also. Therefore, we wanted a plug and play digital infrastructure that could work for India and at India scale also, not just a specific solution, but help in ensuring learning outcomes of children. So our mainly the stakeholders, if I talk, which we are taking into consideration, and there are 5 different personas. We have parents, we have teachers, we have community, we have administrators, and also learn, help learn, manage learn. 3 different scenarios, and learning and administration, educational administration and governance. That is also key. So we are working towards that. So therefore, DIKSHA as a solution for these nearly 17 different building blocks, the India document, National Digital Education Architecture documents talks about 32 different building blocks. And DIKSHA addresses nearly 17 building blocks, starting from energized textbooks to continuous professional development of teachers, having quizzes, events, even digital credentials, even collaborative tools, and also contribution, and also addressing the issue of digital and physical. So in a way, physical, so how that can be addressed, and the content and its different varieties, even how chatbot function can be integrated into it, data tools and data visualization, how that can be done, and even language translation, and also making available content in multiple Indian languages. That is also key. And if I talk about DIKSHA and its reach, so it is perhaps world's largest and unparalleled use cases. If we see the most diverse school education platform, we can say, and 4.9 billion plus learning sessions we have, and 57.4 billion plus learning minutes, and also 39.6 billion plus page hits, and nearly 50 million page hits per day. And we have digital contents in nearly 36 languages, so 33 plus languages on DIKSHA. If I take you further on DIKSHA, these are the main variety of resources. I can say that this is being disseminated through DIKSHA platform, and it augments further teaching, learning, and assessment as well. And it has energized textbooks where books are digitized and the quick response codes are embedded into it. And it is also embedded into the physical textbook. And if somebody children scan it, they can get the resources. Content sourcing is also done through Vidyadan, and national level quizzes events are also organized through that. We have coherent access of these contents through Prime Minister's eVidya program through TV and radio. So that the same content available through DIKSHA platform is also available through radio and TV. Recently, we have launched a couple of initiatives like Nipun Bharat for pre-primary content, and for adult learners also content. Even there are 2 upcoming things coming on DIKSHA. One vertical for children with special needs and one for skill development, that is also coming up, and also virtual lab. I was talking about the coherent access of content under Prime Minister's eVidya program. So through this you can see that the contents available to portal and app are also available simultaneously on DIKSHA platform, and even videos are also QR coded. And if there are 2-3 siblings at home, and they can a child of class 6 can scan the code of a particular class, watch it on a digital handset, and a child who is younger can watch that same content on TV. And here you can see the digital content and variety we are having, and how children can scan using the scanner of DIKSHA. inbuilt into it, and we have nearly 5,800 digital books, not only developed by NCERT, which is 377. We have books from different states also. Like Vijay Kiranji is from Uttar Pradesh. So Uttar Pradesh state has digitized all its books and uploaded on DIKSHA also, so that it can be accessed. And we have nearly 600 million plus energized textbooks which are printed. So these QR codes are printed on those also, and nearly 280,000, 2.8 lakh digital content we have on DIKSHA, and nearly it is enabling 180 million plus students plus 7 million of teachers on daily basis. They are using such resources as well. If I talk about again the books, you can see a book page where the beginning of the chapter, the first page of the chapter is having a QR code, and audios, videos, interactives, assessment questions, and worksheets, digital worksheets are embedded into it. The child can scan and do it also. And in COVID pandemic situation, it was a boon. And we had nearly 60 million page hits per day on the portal itself. I was talking about the languages. You can see the variety of languages we have the content. Even the largest teacher training program, which is popularly known as NISTA, my colleague will talk. I'll not take much time on it. So it was launched in 2020 in pandemic situation. We could scale 2.25 million teachers with less than 5% cost and 4 times speed, and in 3 to 6 month time. So you can imagine, similarly, based on the success, our Honorable Prime Minister has launched 2 more courses for teachers online for 3.5 million teachers, which is ongoing. And also we have several states, because DIKSHA is virtually a junction. It is a federated platform. So there are 40 websites integrated into this junction, like a metro station or railway station. So trains from different corners, they come. So Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Haryana, Andhra Pradesh, they also organize several capacity building programs on their own, apart from the NISTA training also. You can see these are digital certificates, which is verifiable through a QR code to check whether this is a correct certificate or a duplicate. So, and the certificates are available on the portal. So 100 million plus verifiable certificates across the nation have been already created on DIKSHA platform. And again, if we are talking about we also conducted a variety of assessment using this and the quizzes. So that enabled us for reaching out to the stakeholders. I talked about the public organizations, CSRs and startups contributing digital contents through Vidyadan, through donation, education donation. So nearly 30,000, 38,000 contents have been donated under Vidyadan, and 29,000 content have been curated and made live on the portal as well. And if I talk about the platform, so content contribution ecosystem at central and state level, this is the platform, and the content review structure is well built. Quality is also control mechanism is intact through systems. And also teachers play a crucial role in content development. So their continuous training is also done, how mobile based and other content can be developed through, even professional contents can be developed and shared also. So teachers made content because it is co-creation of content rather than just using as a consumer. Rather, teachers are prosumers who are active part of creating content and disseminating across the globe. If I talk about again the DIKSHA, it is leading a variety and diversity of content, you can see. So I also have mentioned, I need not to repeat it, and a large variety of contents are available. And we have 40 plus institutions I have mentioned already, they are contributing in this aspect. And having content for children with special needs, like audio books, like Indian Sign Language videos are also boon for children with special needs like VI and HI. And a large number of contents have been developed, and it is stored in on DIKSHA. If I talk about DIKSHA, is built on a free open source platform. So it is free and open, Mukt and Muft. So all the resources are free and open. and it is built on a Sunward platform, which is mainly coordinated by XSTEP, one of the leading NGO in India, located at Bangalore. They are our partner, and it is made in India, made for the world. So any country, any school, any teacher education institution, any one can take this tool and build their own platform absolutely for free, because it is free and open. And we have a structure existing, federated and decentralized structure. So starting from planning to budgeting to implementing the process. So we have a large number of state governments, almost 35 states are onboarded, except one, and all the states are there, and central agencies. The Ministry of Education, under the umbrella of Samagra Shiksha, is funding the whole process, and National Council of Educational Research and Training, CIET NCERT, is the nodal body under the aegis of Ministry of Education, who is coordinating with the DIKSHA technical team in XSTEP, and also the mighty team who are our technical partner in hosting DIKSHA and taking it to the next level. And if I talk about further, a large number of analytics are also built on DIKSHA using several data analytics platforms. So data from DIKSHA provides the ability to see and empower relevant stakeholders, even tracking learning and also providing different platforms. Recently, keeping in view our contribution under Prime Minister's eVidya program and DIKSHA, the UNESCO has bestowed CIET NCERT with UNESCO's King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa Prize for use and integration of information and communication technology in education. It was awarded on 24th of last month, June, at Paris. And DIKSHA is also considered as a public good under digital public good by Government of India, apart from Aadhaar, UPI and CoWIN app. So DIKSHA leverages NDR policy framework and building blocks and standards as well. If I say that to sum up, I must mention that here the recipe from our DIKSHA journey is: consider your policy in a robust manner, take and tweak technology to build, modify sovereign control and have a control, plug and play, implement in the context of program and budget with accountability mechanism and existing institutional structure, measure and improve through data ability to including AI supported data analytics, and navigate reforms to policy destination. So you too can do this. So this architecture is absolutely free, and I thank the Ministry of Electronics and IT and the Government of Gujarat for coming together to have such an event and giving us an opportunity to present this before the world, which is a free and open platform, can be used by anyone, everyone, all of us. Thank you very much, and namaskar.
Thank you, Dr. Mehra, for a very insightful discussion and another presentation on DIKSHA. And now I would request Shri Vijay Kiran Anand, if you can please let us know about Vidya Samiksha Ken. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Vijay.
Thank you, Rajiji. Thank you, everybody. It's wonderful and exciting to be part of this, to understand what's happening in such an exciting area. And this is only hope, because the kind of architecture, the kind of solution, the kind of platform that is getting developed, that is what will allow us to bypass the legacy issues and bypass so many other issues that we have in terms of integration, in terms of reaching out to the millions of people, millions of students out there, millions of teachers. And for a state like us, which have such huge scale related problems also, this is the only hope. And I'm very happy to share our experiences, particularly on the most crucial topic of making the entire system data driven and also outcome based. So far in UP, we've always, in UP and in all other states, we had these problems of all our system is geared up to review input based monitoring, in the sense that whether uniforms are distributed, whether midday meals are a thing and all that. But whereas actual thing, what is happening in the classroom in terms of learning outcome driven monitoring, and in government, what gets monitored only gets done. So ultimately on all the indicators, the important weightage is on learning outcomes, and that is what needs to get monitored. So now we have hope on that, and that is what I wanted to share with you. I'll just share my presentation. Yeah. So like in UP, for example, we have 2 crore plus students enrolled in government schools, almost more than that in private schools. We have 1.33 lakh schools. We have 6 lakh plus teachers. That's a huge scale. And to get this system to be a well-oiled machinery, make it at each level, right from the school level to the block levels, the district level to the state level, to get it monitored on a data-driven system, give actionable inputs at each level to education leaders, make it a program management unit is a huge challenge. I mean, earlier we used to have census assessment tests every quarter, and it would take us at next quarter for us to deliver the results or inform the teacher that this is where we stand. So there never was a mechanism in which we had tools in hand at each level to make to allow a teacher to focus on personalized adaptive learning of each student. Now that is changed because of the framework that we have, the NDR framework. UP was one of the first states to subscribe to that platform. DIKSHA, through which we are doing learning at home, personalized learning, on technology-based learning for teacher training, and so on. The entire game has changed, and entire thing has become outcome-based for us. And as education administrators, we are all in a very sweet spot to actually harness this opportunity, and that is what I wanted to bring. So we have multiple programs going on in the education framework, different buckets of components of things going on, and there's also a challenge of each data systems talking to each other, giving us analytics which are useful even at the school level for teacher. Ultimately, we need to understand what's happening in the classrooms, whether there is process adherence there, and whether we are on the right path, and make course corrections whenever required. You know, a block education officer and an academic team in the state, in the district or in the blocks, or even a district magistrate in thing is not aware. He's groping in the dark as to how to get outcomes where SDG, Niti Aayog, performance grading index, the PISA rating, everybody is monitoring learning outcomes, and we are not knowing where we are. So we will never be able to reach the goals. So what we have done in UP, I just wanted to give a background of what we have done in UP in terms of a framework, and then come to how technology and the Vidya Samiksha Kendra framework is helping us achieve outcomes. You know, so we have done the entire gamut of interventions. September 2019, we had the precursor to the Nipun Bharat program launched in UP called Mission Prerna. Entire gamut of interventions on academic, on enabling reforms, on administrative reforms was launched. The entire, all the 1.33 lakh schools were refurbished under the Operation Kayakal program, or 19 parameters were saturated there. Then we declared the learning outcomes for the Balvatikas, Anganwadis, and class 1 to 3, and for language and maths. And these goals are communicated to all teachers, all stakeholders, parents, communities, and so on. And there are quarterly goals declared for each district, with baseline being the NAS survey, which was concluded last year. And then every quarter we would measure on census assessments and other methods like spot assessment, school-based assessment, so on, and know where we are. And ultimately, by Nipun Bharat Abhiyan is decided a target of by 2026-27, we would achieve that. We took 1 year before that, the target of achieving grade competency for all our 2 crore students studying in public schools. So,
sorry, your slides are stuck. We'll just try resharing the screen. I just got to know from them slides are stuck. Can you ask if the screen is visible?
Is my screen visible?
It's not in full screen. So.
Vijay, actually, I think you have to go for the full screen.
No, I'm already on full screen.
Okay, then maybe you look at your PowerPoint icon. There may be 2 screens there. So maybe the screen is on the other screen. Can you just go to the PowerPoint icon in your tray?
Yeah. If I let's stop.
Because we are seeing your editing mode. Yeah.
Is it okay now?
Please click on the screenshot. It's not screenshot yet.
So I think there is an issue with the version of PowerPoint with this particular video conference.
Okay, then please continue with this. No problem. Please continue. Just
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I mean, and then we made sure that the classroom is transformed in terms of being an engaging, print-rich environment. We supplied posters and conversation charts designed by academic experts along with our teachers, and then we had reading corners, we had library books of wonderful, exciting NBT, NCRT books supplied, we had Max Kits supplied, we had a teacher diary to monitor, to allow teachers to document what they are doing. We had reading books, and reading was launched as a campaign. We had a massive movement of funding from different sources to and community mobilization to convert schools into smart classrooms. And we also devised a mechanism for assessments. So we started with a pilot in Gorakhpur, and as you can see in this, there are 3-stage processes. The question paper is designed based on learning outcomes declared in Nipun Bharat by our academic teams, and they are sent to schools, and the students mark their answers, and they are captured in an OMR sheet and in the Saral app designed by the DIKSHA team, and then the data is populated on a real-time basis through the app is downloaded by the teachers, and then we are able to populate the data, and we can give school-based report cards or student-based report cards to things. So we had done such assessments in the past, but now with the Vidya Samiksha Kendra mechanism and the Saral app, we have a system of doing real-time monitoring of student outcomes, and these dashboards throw up very exciting data which will help us do actionable inputs to be provided at each level. So all our academic cadre is informed well enough to take good decisions, to make course corrections, to adapt to the situations, and govern better. We are also giving classrooms with different videos and digital content for different pedagogical techniques. So the classroom practices have to improve. Like for example, the engagement in the classroom should be group activity, pairing of the students, grouping of the students rather than having one-way communication, how to use the Max Kits, how to make it project-based and activity-based learning in classroom. So these videos are very useful. We have used DIKSHA in a big way. We were one of the first states to use DIKSHA. All our textbooks are QR coded. All our chapters are, I think, 6,500 plus videos designed by our teachers and sourced from different wonderful partner organizations that we have are already on DIKSHA. And we have also run 100% of our trainings on, I think we are one of the few states who have each of the teachers access to their HRMS code, their employee code linked to the DIKSHA portal. So we know analytics of which teacher is taking which courses, what's been their performance there, assessment, certification, and some of these certificates are shown by teachers on Facebook and so on. And there is a change in culture, and there are a lot of cost savings because of that. There's better flexibility for teachers. There is a choice for the teachers to take training as per their convenience, as per their suitability and so on. So that's a very big game-changing framework for us. And this is what we consider as the heart and soul of our program in Nipun Bharat, the academic resource team that we have. So we have around 4,000 plus ARPs, and we have cluster teams which are 5 teachers per cluster. So around 40,000 plus teachers. So totally we have around 45,000 teams. We are banking on them. We've invested on them for last 2.5-3 years. In terms of capacity building, in terms of their intrinsic motivation, in terms of their negotiation skills, to make them mentors for our teachers. So, and we have developed a robust supportive supervision module. So we have good data coming out of them. So they would go on, report on a Prerna app. They would report wonderful data. They will even do spot assessment. So every week we have like 2 lakh plus student spot assessment data coming in. That's a very rich data to work on. From a Nipun Bharat monitoring center or a Vidya Samiksha Kendra. And these resource persons are able to do classroom observations, mentoring of these teachers, improving on the practices in the classrooms, envisioning what is there in the NEP and the Nipun Bharat Abhiyan in bringing them into the classrooms. So that is what is helping us as a system to make it a data-driven and outcome-driven system. So We are going massive on an outreach program for making Nipun a Jan Andolan, right from the highest political executives to right to the last mile functionary in the village. Everybody is made aware of what is Nipun Bharat, why grade competence is important, why FLN, foundation and numerical literacy, is critical for all our social and economic indicators. Teachers are being mobilized, all our stakeholders like Gram Panchayats, Pradhans, our elected representatives, media organizations are communicated. They have been interpersonally, they have been spoken about Nipun Bharat. They have been made part of these functionaries. Our SMCs, our parents, communities, associations, everybody is roped in. And the key thing is to do assessments at each level, low stake, high intensity assessments, so that we are able to have data on one hand, and also do adaptive personalized learning for each of the students, because each student matters. So this is the background of what we have done so far as a state in to implement Nipun Bharat and NEP in our classrooms. Now that is where Vidya Samiksha Kendra comes. So we have multiple layers of program management unit right from school to state. We have a lot of data, sometimes working in, sometimes throwing cross-functional analysis. We have school infrastructure data. We have student and teacher attendance data coming up. We have DIKSHA data coming up. We have assessment data coming up. We have a mammoth UDAS data coming from all schools. And all these need to be integrating. The data systems should be talking to each other. And that can all happen only when we have NDR framework VSK. So this is the vision statement of VSK, which is designed by MOE and partner organizations. That it's an aligned institutional avenue, something like what Gujarat has designed, that enables integrated and shared seeing for amplifying database decision making to drive action by key stakeholders for the success of their program. So it sums up very well what we are planning to do with setting up things. So this year we have a sanction under the PAB of Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, creation of a VSK, and we are almost there as a state there. So we bring synergies, we integrate data, we we provide good actionable inputs for problem solving at each level. So, so one of the buckets, crucial buckets of interventions for implementing Nipun Bharat goals, and then declaring a state like UP, a massive state like UP, for a great competent state where each student is actually he's having at grade learning, then VSK becomes a critical component. So what we are planning in this is under the vision, we have multiple stakeholders like the teachers, the parents, the communities, the educational administrators, and there is a rollout plan. So what we did in Gorakhpur is we designed the question paper, we had the data reporting at different things, and we found that the accuracy of the data, the integrity of the data was quite high. The savings in time and cost were humongous. At a fraction of the cost that used to charge earlier, we could do assessments at any point of time. Not much time in designing and thinking. The time to market, in the sense that the amount of time from design to implementation at the school level is very less. Effort taken of the entire cascading chain of administrators is very less. So you can, a district magistrate has the tools in his hand through this framework, that anytime he decides as an education committee chairman or education officer decides that I need to know what's happening, he can actually do an assessment and get to know the results. So this is the Samiksha Kendra that was inaugurated by Honorable Chief Minister in Gorakhpur, and he saw the data analysis school-wise, student-wise, block-wise. He also saw heat maps and cross-functional data being analyzed in different way.
My screen's not visible. Just 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll just go on mute. Just go to the screen. Next.
Is my screen visible now?
Yes, yes. Please continue.
Okay. Yeah. So this is the VSK that was inaugurated in Gorakhpur. We are scaling up to the entire state now. So Saral app was used, as I told, and the dashboards were populated in C cube. So each of the answers were captured and data visualized and populated. Entire process was completed in just a couple of days. So all 2 lakh students and all records were 20 lakh records were captured. All learning outcomes, around 89 learning outcomes, were tested across 5 things for class 1 to 8. And this is a format of the report card which was given to students and schools, which was informing for the first time to the community and the parents that you can see the smiley where the learning outcome is achieved and where there is a challenge thought to improve, encouraging students where they are, and encouraging parents to be part of their learning activity, encouraging learning at home. So if there is a conversation between parents and teachers, which is a very important step forward. So we have grade wise, we have data analysis as to how many students have actually achieved the Nipun Bharat goals, how many students are almost there, and where we need significant interventions to achieve learning outcome wise. So this is a huge step forward and a giant leap for our system, and we can design our interventions and so on. For example, if there is a challenge in number identification in a thing, so we can do a massive campaign in that particular block or that particular cluster, and then make it show better improvement in outcomes next time around. So now we are having a system. We have completed our design phase, and we are on implementation phase to scale up such a system of monitoring learning outcomes, having a dynamic architecture and database data-driven system at the entire state. It's a huge challenge to have 2 crore students assessed every quarter, but we have done the pilot, done the initial work, and now we are rolling it up phase wise to complete for a statewide rollout by 5th September. That would enable us as a state to know all data like infrastructure, the teacher, the MDM monitoring, and so on. But most importantly, make entire system outcome based as to finally we know each student whether we have achieved our targets, each school which we have achieved, and we can read from Nipun Balak to Nipun school to Nipun block to a Nipun state. So that is the dream, and that is where VSK plays a central role and a pivotal role in that. And hopefully we will be able to crack this part, because it is critical to do. Once we do this, entire thing falls in place. All the parts of the puzzle are in there, and we are able to improve the governance. All our ratings indicators will improve. So, and entire system becomes accountable, robust, and even things like teacher morale, motivation will improve, because the best performers will be coming out and we can create a system of recognition and rewards for them. And we can also ensure there is quite a bit of peer learning between teachers, because it's a robust data-driven system. That's all I wanted to present on the VSK, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Vijay. That was very comprehensive, very good, and I'm sure everyone is going to benefit a lot. And this could be one of the pioneering efforts besides Gujarat, so that the NDR at the central level, because I think Dr. Behra is preparing that by the end of this month, we'll have the VSK running in the center. Thank you, Mr. Vijay. Thank you once again. And I would now request Dr. Angel to please speak about SWAYAM MOOCs. Thank you.
Very good evening to everyone, and it's really a privilege to share about the SWAYAM platform and how MOOCs are being conducted through the SWAYAM platform. I would also like to share my screen so that the presentation is visible. Is my screen full visible or not full screen? Whether my presentation is visible on a full screen?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Yeah. Thank you. So we are just going to discuss a little about the MOOCs on SWAYAM. So We know that MOOC stands for Massive Open Online Courses, but why is it really required for India? When we talk about massive, we have been listening from the previous speakers as well, that our country has a very huge population, and out of which we have a good number of people who are in the school and the universities. So some of the statistics are given here. So having such a kind of being in such a kind of a diverse country where we have a massive student community, and it's really required to take the learning space beyond the four walls of the classroom. So that is one of the main reasons that we need online courses that can be open and that should be flexible. And in India, we also see that our dropout rates are also high, and we also see there are a lot of youth due to financial constraint or due to other family scenarios, they are not able to continue their higher studies after a particular level. Even students at school, many students are dropouts only because of the family scenario, or they would like to earn for the family. So keeping all this scenario in view, the online courses becomes one of the solution to help these people to continue their learning. So initially, when we see it started with EPG Pathshala, which actually wanted to address only the PG courses, where people who are not able to continue PG courses to help them out to start learning PG courses. But slowly it has extended as MOOCs for all levels. Now, this MOOCs has been being conducted from school, like from secondary level of the school education till the higher secondary, all the levels. So we have courses for UG, PG, and not only UG, PG in the arts and science courses, but for the technical courses as well. So that's why this MOOCs become very important in the Indian context and to be part of it. And this is the screenshot of the portal. And there is a dedicated portal for the SWAYAM, and also the SWAYAM portal is also accessible through a mobile app. And this portal right now works on a learning management system, which is Course Builder, Google Course Builder. So this is Pakka. It's like a SWAYAM portal is a learning management system having the feature of registration, enrollment, course delivery, assessment, and till certification. So there are lots of things which are connected inside, and so it becomes a holistic portal to offer the online course. So that is the greatness of this portal, where you have everything in one place which can start and go ahead till the end. And also the portal also has a feature of having kind of a space for individual coordinators or individual levels for which courses can be offered. So going ahead, what does really SWAYAM stands for? We must have been aware of this, but still I'm just trying to repeat it so that if someone is new attending this conference, it will help them. Like, it talks about study webs of active learning for young aspiring minds. So it clearly defines the target group in its name itself. It is for anyone who are young in their mind, who is having aspiration to learn. So this is the target group. So this is not restricted to a school student or a college student. So it is an open platform for anyone who is young at mind and who aspires to really learn. And it's a portal which is going to be a real hub for learning and which also promotes active learning. So that's what the name itself talks about. And when we also see some of its feature, it is just a one-stop web as well as the mobile-based portal. Some of the learning management systems do not have a mobile-based app. But why this becomes very important is an Indian context. If we see, like earlier we were listening to DIKSHA, where we have a complete data on 80% of the users who are using our portals are using through mobiles. So using the web-based, desktop-based system in a mobile is not so convenient or comfortable. So it is really a requirement that, keeping our Indian context in view, it's very important to have a mobile-based learning management system. And so SWAYAM has the option that it can be used in a desktop or as an app in a tab or in your mobile as well. And SWAYAM portal also has scope for interactive digital content for courses from secondary level to university level. So many times when we see like for school level, we can't keep giving all the lecture videos to the students, because if it is little more longer, also students lose their interest. So to keep them always active, there are a lot of features that allows to have an interactive content where after watching a smaller video, and there can be immediately a question on it, so that there is a kind of an interaction, not just with the content, and also it interacts with the learners to check their self how the learning is happening within themselves. So that's how the portal has a feature in itself. And also when we talk about the learning experiences, it has the scope to have content which are multimedia based. It's not just restricted to audio or video content. There is a scope to add your web links, which could be a simulation, which could be an animation, which also could be a AR, VR content. So it gives us space. The portal gives us a lot of space where we can give multiple variety of content that can really address every senses of the learners and make the learning experience very meaningful. And not only that, this content can be accessed anywhere at any time, and also gives an option to download these content for themselves to have it whenever they wanted to view. So this kind of space which is provided in the portal is really helping the learning experience to be enriched and to have a better quality in the learning. And also this particular portal is very easy to access. It's not so difficult when you wanted to join a course and then we wanted to do it. Even students who have never accessed any other ICT tools, or who are not trained on any tools or in use of technology, once they are oriented, are able to really access this course, because being NCERT is conducting courses for school education, and we usually see children from the rural part of the country who really have never experienced, even some students from urban places who have never experienced using technology for learning, able to join this course. Even parents who are illiterates could help. Illiterates, I don't mean in terms of education, but illiterates in terms of technology usage. They are also able to help the children when they join this course. So that is some of the success stories we have seen, which shows the platform is allowing an easy access. And it also has a very good monitoring system for the course coordinators as well as the mentors of the course. So it gives us a space. The portal also gives us a space where we can have course coordinators, course mentors, who are going to be the course staffs, who will be able to teach, who will be able to connect. Like, for example, if there is like the monitoring becomes very difficult when there are 1 lakh students joining in a course. Like for us in one of the course during pandemic, there was more than 50,000 students in one single course. So how do we really, one course coordinator, monitor this 50,000 students learning process? It's really a challenging, but SWAYAM portal has the feature that we can add course staffs, where you can also allocate a kind of a number of students to that particular course staffs. And not only that, like in case, for example, a school in Uttarakhand, if a school wants themselves to join the course, if the teacher feels all my students in the class can join this course, there is also an option to make a local chapter of that school in this, so that the school becomes a local chapter here, and the class teacher can be made as an in charge of that particular school students, and she can continuously monitor the learning in the online platform in relevance to the offline platform. So these kind of features which the SWAYAM portal has enables an easy, not only the easy access, but also an easy monitoring. We were discussing little early before about how statistics have helped UP in monitoring and trying to do a lot of implementation based on the analytics. So that kind of an option is available in this portal as well, which can help people. And it's also an evolving portal where we can keep always looking up what could be used better for the future. So data analytics is becoming very rich in this platform day by day. And every time it's like reviewed, the inputs which are coming up are seriously taken to enrich this. So that's one of the feature of the SWAYAM platform. And also, it helps to give a hybrid model of delivery. What does this hybrid model of delivery is like, it's not just to have it only as online courses. Like for example, most of us are aware that as per the research data, not even 10% of people who join any online course completes the course. Let's question ourselves, how many of us have joined online courses? How many courses did we really enroll ourselves? But really, how many of us completed the course and got really certified? So when we really see this scenario, we come to know from the research data that 10% of the people have that self-learning, the motivation to do a self-learning and go by themselves, have the motivation to progress till they get certified. Okay, so in that case, there is a need for that. And when it comes to the students level, especially, I'm not talking about very specifically at an in-service or capacity building level of the educators, because they have a little bit of maturity in learning from themselves. But when it comes to a student level, even if they are at higher education, they expect a touch of an educator, a teacher in their learning process. They always feel that there should be somebody who is there to attend to them when they have a doubt. So that's one of the reasons where this portal also gives option for asynchronous communication, as well as there is an option to add, because it's working on a Google course builder, there's always option to build in a meeting with Google Meet or with any other Zoom or any other video conferencing, and give a link, schedule a time for a live discussion, so that it is not that you're sitting somewhere and you're learning from somebody, but there is a possibility that there is a synchronous as well as asynchronous mode of interaction that's possible in the platform. Though it doesn't have an inbuilt live interactive tool, but it gives a space to include live interactive tool sessions in the course itself. So that way the portal also enables the hybrid model of delivering the content to better increase the quality of teaching. Because most of us believe and most of us think that this online learning is not effective, but it's not about what the portal offers alone, but it's more mainly based on how the portal is being utilized by the educator. Because even in the face-to-face class, the teacher may have an ineffective classroom, right? There may be an interaction that has not really been meaningful. So in the similar way, having this online portal and having these features built in the portal itself, now there is a possibility for a course coordinator who's delivering the course, or the one who is developing the course, to use these features to deliver a course which is more effective in nature and which will really have a focus to achieve the learning outcome during this process. So, and this portal focuses on mainly 3 principles of the educational policy to give access. There are many students who are not able to continue their education, right? So they're not able to have access to the face-to-face learning process. So it is this platform is really, the courses through this platform is really helping to reach these people who are not having access to the face-to-face classroom. And during pandemic, it has been really a great game changer, because many schools couldn't really afford, or many schools couldn't really do a good job in offering an online class or a digital class during there, because there was no facility available. Some of the teachers were not very well prepared, or the institution itself was not having that aspiration and motivation. So during that time, pandemic time, we could see that SWAYAM portal has been a platform, and it has really opened the space for students, teachers, and all others to come on this platform to continue learning. And it has provided access to education during that hard time as well. And also it has one other focus is on equity to provide learning opportunities to everyone, and just not to stop with that and to have a quality education through this online platform. So let's also understand like how these are really realized in action when this courses are being offered. One of the main thing about sustaining this SWAYAM online course transfer, like dissemination through SWAYAM, is it has a very well-structured administrative structure and as well as an implementation standard. So very clearly, organizations have been identified to be national coordinators who is taking the role of streamlining, having the quality check on the content of the courses. So for example, NCERT is the national coordinator to offer all the school educational programs from class 9 to 10. Similarly, NIOS is for offering courses for the out-of-school children who is in class 9 to 12. So we can see like it's very categorically, it has been given as a responsibility. Because of this structure, there is a lot of quality control that's happening at every stage. Because as national organizations who are coordinators here, they take that responsibility of ensuring the content going out of them has that quality and it meets the expectations for which this SWAYAM portal has been established. So, and also there is an administrative structure like there is a SWAYAM board at the national level which meets and often takes a discussion on what is its impact happening, and it's also having a concern not to just start one initiative and then leave it aside, but it's having a uniform way of meeting in a year multiple times to discuss the main points, take decisions at the national level so that it goes till the last level of implementation, and also think about the challenges it faces, what could be the solution. So this kind of a structured system also is enabling the effectiveness of this courses to be offered through this SWAYAM platform. And it's not just an administrative board, but there is an academic board also which keeps reflecting on the modality which is being given. Initially, when we see that there was a 4-quadrant system, like we'll be discussing on that, but initially, it started with 1 4-quadrant system where there were 4 options. This is how the program has to go. But after 1 or 2 years after the implementation, when the academic committee felt that there is a need for change, the whole board was open for a change. So that's a real requirement, like adapting ourselves to the current requirement. So when there is a need to change something in this platform or change to happen in the modality, there was an openness, and this academic board plays a very important role in giving such a suggestions. And there is also national coordinators who take responsibility of the category of courses. And also at the implementation stage, and we are aware national coordinators are holding an administrative post in all the organizations. And so there are SWAYAM program coordinators who really ensure the management of course proposal till delivery to data, and then evaluation of the program, which passes from again to the coordinator, national coordinator board, and for further discussion and implementation. Similarly, if we see at every administration organization level, as I showed, there are 9 national coordinators, but every coordinator, national coordinator level, there is an academic advisory committee. Like who is strictly evaluate every proposal of the course to check whether, so to avoid repetition of courses, just this is not a platform just to dump content. Sometimes what happens is when a new platform is started and when there are a lot of initiatives started, there is a lot of repetition that happens. There is no quality check on the content. So to ensure that there is no repetition of courses, to ensure that the validity of the course, which is the relevance of the course, this academic advisory committee really plays a very important role in assessing every proposal that comes to the organization to start building, and they also give advice on improving the courses. So that's a very crucial quality parameter check that happens to ensure the quality of the content which is going as part of the course. And also, as per the SWAYAM structure itself, it's very defined that there should be a subject matter expert group who's going to write the content. It's not like XYZ writing something and throwing the content on it. But it's like subject matter experts are all qualified experts who are teaching in the, having an experience of teaching in that field, and who know the pulse of the student, who know the content and the pedagogy and andragogy of the delivery of that content. So that kind of subject matter expert selection becomes a crucial thing when we really develop online course, and that's having a complete standard definition in the SWAYAM administrative structure. And also a very clear structure. If there is a course, there should be a responsible person as a course coordinator. There could be an academic team who can be always reviewing it. There will be a technical team who supports uploading the content. Why it's all very important is, without having this kind of a category of teams, if we simply bombard saying that every organization has to give a course, then we cannot expect a quality really content out of it. But this kind of a structure which is defined in SWAYAM is helping each and every national coordinator to have a team ready for delivering the course in a very meaningful way. And not just only this team, and there is an administrative team for handling account, for handling the all official procedures. So this human resource design, which is proposed in SWAYAM on developing and then organizing, managing, offering, and then also validating, conducting exam. This kind of a human resource team suggestion has played a very important role to making this program a real effective program. And this is one of the success which we can take it forward for many other programs, that in any program when we define, we need to really think about the human resource which is required for implementation. And otherwise, if there is no clear definition of that, the program may not be really implemented in a very effective manner. So this kind of structuring and defining the exact role of each and every person in SWAYAM has helped to take this project in a very progressive manner. Coming to the course approach, when we see the course approach, we can see here it's following a 4-quadrant approach, which has e-tutorials, e-content, assessment, and forum to just give in detail. When we say e-tutorial, it can be of any of this kind. So where we are thinking, like as the teacher teaches in the classroom, the quadrant 1 is to give the knowledge or share the knowledge or discuss the knowledge or build the knowledge. So that's what is quadrant 1 for. And quadrant 2 is to enable people have their own space for learning, to continue the learning, to supplement the learning basically, or complement the learning. So that's what all the digital content here means. It can be a variety of resources that can be added. And not to just stop with it, the third quadrant focuses on discussion forum, where they can raise doubts, they can come and actually clarify their queries, and with the course coordinators or the mentors who are registered in the course. And the last quadrant doesn't leave them like just you learn something and go, but also it has a series of assessment. If we see, every module in the course has all these 4 components in it, where module-wise assessments are also available, and there is a formative as well as a summative assessment. So how this SWAYAM courses can be used in both the sector, like maybe in school education as well as. Yes, sir.
Angel, we have just about 5-10 minutes left, and there are 4 or 5 questions. If you can quickly wrap up.
Yes, I'll quickly wrap up, sir. Thank you. So I've just already said that it could be used as a supplementary to the actual classroom learning, complementary, and also it can be integrated. And even it can be an online complete digital learning, which could be an infused model. So I would like to just end with some of the experience of NCRT, who is offering MOOCs for the school education. We have around 3 lakh beneficiaries, and we are running around 28 courses in 11 subjects across class 9, 11 and 12, and we have conducted till now 9 cycles. Some of the key reflection, if we really wanted to ensure this online learning through SWAYAM platform also effective in school education, because in higher education it has taken the next level, but in school education there are some key points for our reflection. Most of the school students feel I'm already in school, which is a very standardized way of learning and assessment to get a certificate, and why should a child come to an online system? This is a question which we have interacted when we interacted with multiple stakeholders we have come across. So we need to clearly define what way a child will be benefited, and that's in a process. After NEP, it's very clearly guiding us to come out with a guideline on this. And it's very important also because in higher education, the learner itself takes their own self responsibility. When it comes to school education, it's really required to have a strict standard guideline to say how to balance the regular class as well as the online course, how that both can be managed. That it's also a very crucial point which we need to really think about, and how the subject teachers can handhold the learning process as mentors in the online course. So there are technical opportunities in the platform. This is possible, but only thing right now we have to move forward is, I'm just going to conclude what we wanted to look forward is we need to have a very structured hybrid learning guideline using SWAYAM, and we know that like Ministry of Education has already initiated this and it is in process, and we are looking forward to implement this in all the places. And there is an option called local chapters, and this can be adapted by the way it's being adapted in higher education. It can be adapted by the states as well to implement school education. And there is really a need for awareness among these online courses to scale up at school level. And we also need to have a collaboration to offer this, because each state has a separate curriculum, so it's required for a collaboration. And as I said, a complete guideline on implementation is a very essential. And from the Israel experience, we have seen some research report which says they have 80% of success story, where the whole world says it's only 10% success in online thing. The one factor which they have been successful is because of forming peer learning communities. This is something which we need to initiate in our education system for online courses. And the last point is the offline, to work offline and sync option, which is right now not there, but slowly this is something which is coming up as a recommendation of NDR, because Mr. Rajneesh started with NDR. I'm ending with a point related to NDR, where this platform also has to establish the blocks of NDR, where we can have offline solution with syncs and also interoperability feature that can really help in integrating the national level. So I stop here. If there is any queries, I'm free to.
Thank you, Dr. Angel. And I think we have, Sonal has put up 4 questions on the panel. And thank you, Dr. Angel, for this good presentation and also explaining every single thing about MOOCs. So the first question is for Dr. Behra. I think, can you see that question, sir? How is DIKSHA planning to reach the remote and tribal areas so that people can also be benefited?
Thank you very much, Rajneesh ji. Actually, I mentioned already that one is the contents are not only available on DIKSHA. The videos and audios are also simultaneously disseminated through Prime Minister's eVidya program as One Class, One TV channel. So there are nearly 6,300 videos, class-wise, subject-wise, which are telecast on Prime Minister's eVidya channels. And there are 12 TV channels, One Class, One channel, and any school, any household having a pre-dish of DTH TV, so they can watch this program. Even there are 398 radio stations across the country. They broadcast our content also. That is one. And DIKSHA has an instance of delivery of offline of content also. So we are exploring that further, and we are going to enable that so that offline content of DIKSHA at the national level, and some of the states also they have enabled it. So at the national level also we are going to enable, so that offline anybody would like to have it on laptop, desktop, the application, so they can have whenever they bring it to internet site, it will take the data updates. So that will be there. So this way we are calling it a resilient and coherent access to the e-contents on DIKSHA. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Vera. And the other question is for Shri Kiran. What were the challenges faced during implementing the VSK in Gorakhpur and acceptability by the schools and students? So maybe very briefly you can tell that, Mr. Vijay.
Yeah, I understand the question in the sense that adoption of schools, normally any resistance, there is a resistance to change, and that was a significant change where it is all getting. So we communicated and messaging was very clear. It is not to fix accountability of teachers. It is more, it was all low stakes. We had told that this is only to help the teachers to help them, give them inputs, share data with them so that they are able to govern better. There was complete delegation of responsibility, authority. The principal was in charge of running the schools, and we made it very clear. The messaging was clear. That was the first part. And then all our processes are very transparent. So with there was absolutely no resistance in terms of adoption in teacher training, attendance in teacher training. In fact, in the first day itself, we had 80% plus student attendance, and all teachers were participating in a very enthusiastic manner. And we are seeing that now when we are implementing across the state also. And even teachers realize that because they are working without data systems in hand, they are also handicapped. So I think there is adaptability, and they are ready. I mean, we hardly see anybody using a landline now. All of them are using mobile. So I think this will happen. We'll have, this is our WhatsApp moment for education. And I think all teachers and all stakeholders are ready to adapt it. I think we need to accelerate our pace. We need to go to the 5th gear. And I think we are lagging behind, not the community and the teachers.
Thank you, Mr. That is a very encouraging remark. And Dr. Angel, someone has asked, is SWAYAM also applicable to engineering dropouts?
Yes. NPTEL is offering a lot of courses for engineering students, and there are several students who couldn't continue the engineering in the regular college are able to really pass out through that. So there is option. Thank you.
Thank you. And the next question is for all of us actually. That how can an educational app using NDR interact with those schools' own digital ecosystem? Well, I just want to clarify that NDR is actually envisaged as a digital standard in architecture. Using the architecture, we'll be building a central application. Rather, we'll be adapting all our applications to those standards. So whenever somebody wants to build an app using those standards, it will automatically be interacting with the school's digital ecosystem if the school has also adopted the NDR standards. And I think another question has come. Dr. Professor Vera has replied that the DIKSHA contents are telecast on 12 P-Media T channels and 398 radio stations across the country. So Sonal, is there anything else? Any other question?
No, sir, all questions are done.
So I think we finished dot on time, just 3 minutes.
Yes, sir. We were able to wrap up in time.
Thank you. So I must thank Anjali, the team Digital India, Tanvi Sharma, and I see one more person here, Sonal Sinha, and also Dr. Behra, Shri Vijay Kiran, and Dr. Angel for the time and the insight. And I'm sure this will trigger some debate in the ecosystem, and also give us very constructive and critical feedback so that we can improve our things, because ultimately the goal is the child. It's not to make a good system only for the sake of our feeling great, but we benefit out of every single initiative. Anything else, Shri Vijay, you have to say, or Dr. Angel, Dr. Behra?
Thank you very much. Actually, you have already said many things, but the NDR particularly, as Rajneesh mentioned, it is meant to develop an ecosystem in digital education. And many a times we are flooded with people, those who say here is an app, how to use it, and go and use that. Even at the institute level, we are using 4 different learning management systems. starting from OpenEdX to Sunbird to Moodle and to Google Course Builder. So in that case, if we go parallel and no intersection happen, interoperability is not there, inclusivity is not there, and API level integration is not there, then we will rediscover the wheel again and again, and there will be colossal wastage of resources as a result of that. So NDR as a policy implementation is apt in time, so which promotes that. So let us join and build that ecosystem where with minimum resources, maximum impact we can do. And the goal of our Honorable Prime Minister to achieve skill, scale, and speed together is achieved as well. Thank you, Rajni.
Anything, Vijay, Mr. Vijay?
I think all the presentations and all the discussions have clearly pointed out to one thing, that is that this change is here to stay, and we only can make sure that we are able to design and implement a system where learning can happen anywhere, anytime for the student, and teachers are able to use this ecosystem effectively. The student tracking system and NDR framework, absolutely critical. The faster we as states and all the stakeholders adopt it, use it and implement it, the better. And such sessions have to be held more often. And sharing of best practices is one of the best things to do in such a kind of ecosystem. So I would request to hold more, Rajneesh D and all other people at Niti Aayog and MOE.
And I also must use the opportunity that UP has really done wonders in digital education in the last 2 years. And it's all your effort and of course your team's effort. So congratulations for that.
Thank you so much.
And Dr. Angel, you have to add anything?
Yeah, it's only just a word to say, like we have a lot of resource and systems around us, but only thing is we fail to see everything rather than we look forward for getting a new thing. So let's start seeing what's available around us and start using it effectively, which we can achieve at least 80% of what we really need. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you everyone. And I would just hand over to Anjali now. Thank you, Anjali.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Rajneesh, and to all the panelists for providing us with a great deal of insightful and informative facets of the education technology stack. I believe that this digital revolution has helped in rectifying long-standing problems in the Indian higher education system. And the confluence of all these solutions and platforms we talked about today under the Indian education technology stack, it will be making our students more job ready with the right skill sets that are needed for the workplace and the future. So thank you so much for all the information, all the learnings. I sure learned a lot from this session, and I'm sure our participants too. We truly enjoyed having all participants join us today. We have one more last session lined up for the day on paperless governance and data empowerment from 3:30 p.m. onwards till 5 p.m. So I think you should all stay here, see that session too, and have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is the link same or different link?
I think it should. Sonal would be.
Sir, the participation link is different. I'll be sharing that link with all of you, so that you may view the presentation, the entire presentation of all the days. So I'll be sharing that link.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Namaskar.